Most people assume the Norse mythologized a singular final apocalypse. The world ends, everything perishes, history stops. But the sources disagree. The Norse didn't believe in ending at all. They believed in something radically different, a vision that challenges everything modern pop culture claims about their apocalypse. This video answers 3 questions. What was Ragnarok really? Where did that belief come from? And why do we keep getting it so wrong? By the end, you'll understand the actual prophecy from the oldest sources we have, not the sanitized modern version, but what the Norse themselves actually recorded about their apocalypse. You'll learn the real prophecy, verse by verse. You'll discover it wasn't a one-time destruction, but something cyclical. And you'll see exactly how modern pop culture, Marvel, Wagner, video games, has systematically inverted the original meaning into something the Norse would barely recognize. That inversion matters. It reveals how we process apocalypse itself. Understanding Ragnarok starts with understanding our sources, and we don't have many. The Poetic Edda and Prose Edda are fragmented, centuries old, and mediated through Christian writers. When those texts were first written down in the 13th century, Norse paganism was already dead. Every account we have passed through the hands of men who no longer believed what they were recording. The Poetic Edda is a collection of Old Norse poems, first written down in that 13th century, but likely composed centuries earlier. No one knows exactly when. Scholars debate constantly. These poems were preserved as fragmented accounts, some complete, some broken. Oral traditions don't leave clean margins. They accumulate, change, disappear. The Prose Edda was written by Snorri Sturluson in 1220 AD as a handbook for poets, a how-to guide for creating verse about gods and myths. But Snorri was a medieval Christian man interpreting pre-Christian beliefs centuries after they'd vanished. His interpretations shaped everything we think we know. We can never fully escape that layer of translation. Neither source was originally a unified narrative of Ragnarok. They're patchworks, pieces of older oral traditions, compiled by men born centuries after Viking Age paganism had ended. One account mentions the wolf, another skips it. One describes rebirth, another stops at destruction. We're stitching together fragments, not reading a single clear story. Because of this transmission gap, scholars constantly debate what the Norse actually believed versus what got added, lost, or changed through centuries of retellings by Christian scribes. Did the original pagans really believe in rebirth, or did monks add that to make the story less bleak? Was Fenrir always this important, or did oral tradition amplify him? We'll never know for certain. The prophecy itself begins with Fimbulwinter, 3 winters in succession where no summer arrives. Snow falls from all directions. The sun provides no warmth, no matter where it travels across the sky. And with that cold comes something worse. Every kinship bond collapses. Brother turns against brother. Fathers betray sons. The bonds that hold society together shatter. Fimbulwinter is the dreadful winter, a climate catastrophe lasting 3 years with no warmth, no escape, no hope of spring. Survival itself collapses. People resort to violence over scraps. Social bonds shatter. Fathers kill sons for food. Mothers abandon children. The Norse weren't describing abstract chaos. They were describing famine, the thing that actually threatened them, in cosmic language. The sun and moon are devoured by wolves named Skoll and Hati, who have been pursuing them since the world's creation, finally catching their prey. Darkness. Total, absolute darkness. The light sources themselves vanish. In a culture where winter darkness was real and terrifying, where the sun's return was never guaranteed, this apocalypse translated cosmic fear into myth. The stars vanish from the sky. Earthquakes shake the world so violently that mountains crumble, trees fall, and the foundations of reality come undone. What was solid becomes liquid. What was fixed becomes mobile. The earth itself becomes an enemy. This isn't metaphor. It's the description of a world physically coming apart. The giant ship Naglfar, built from the fingernails of dead people, breaks loose from its moorings and sails toward Earth. It's made of bones. It carries Loki and the forces of destruction. Loki, the trickster, the bound chaos, finally unleashed. The Norse imagined apocalypse as an invasion, enemies coming from outside, not collapse from within. Fenrir, the giant wolf bound by magical chains since ancient times, breaks free and advances toward Asgard. His jaws stretch from sky to earth. One jaw touches the ground, the other reaches the heavens. This is an image of absolute scale. A predator so vast, the sky itself is its prey. Unstoppable. Inevitable. Jormungandr, the serpent so massive it circles the entire ocean, writhes loose from the seabed and causes tidal waves that drench the earth. The ocean itself becomes a weapon. Water, which has always been at the edge of Scandinavian settlement, rises up and destroys. Tidal waves were real threats to those living on coasts and fjords. Heimdall, the watchman god, blows Jallarhorn, a blast so loud that every creature in all 9 worlds hears the signal that the end has arrived. This is the moment of no return, the signal that rallies gods to their final battle. Not the end itself, but the announcement that the end has begun. The gods meet at Ragnarok knowing they will fail, and they fight anyway. This is crucial. They don't flee, they don't negotiate. They know the outcome is fixed and they go to battle regardless. This reveals the deepest Norse value. Honor and defiance matter more than victory. Dying well is worth more than living cowardly.
Отцовство. Odin faces Fenrir and is swallowed by the wolf. But Vidar, Odin's son, avenges his father by tearing the wolf's jaws apart, 1 foot on each jaw, pulling until they snap. This mirrors father-son bonds central to Norse culture. Even in apocalypse, family duty persists. Fathers fall, sons avenge. Loyalty survives the end of the world. Thor and Jormungandr slay each other in their final confrontation. Thor strikes with Mjolnir and kills the serpent, but drowns in its venom spray as the ocean swallows the world. Victory and death are one. Triumph and loss are indistinguishable. The strongest god doesn't survive his greatest victory.
Пожар. Heimdall и Loki fight and kill each other. Surtur, the fire giant, kills Heimdall, then sets the 9 worlds ablaze with his sword of fire. Mountains turn to ash, the stars burn out. Asgard, home of the gods, consumed by flame. This is total annihilation. Nothing appears to remain. The sun turns black, stars disappear, mountains crumble to dust. But here's the critical moment. The sources don't say the world ends. They don't describe closure. They describe a pause. And then something else happens. Something modern retellings consistently skip entirely. The earth rises again from the sea, green and fertile, with a new sun beginning her journey across the sky. A complete reversal of the apocalypse moments before. Not ending, continuation, renewal. The Norse didn't believe their world would die forever. They believed it.
2 humans, Leif and Leifthrossr, survive sheltered inside Yggdrasil, the world tree that sheltered them through all the destruction. They emerge and repopulate the new world, and a female sun is born and begins her eternal journey across the sky.
a matriarchal renewal, not patriarchal. The universe doesn't restart as it was. It restarts improved. Yggdrasil is the world tree connecting all 9 realms in Norse cosmology, holding up the structure of reality itself. It survives the apocalypse, and from its branches, new life sprouts, not from nothing, but from the axis that held the old world together. Destruction is total, but continuity is preserved in the tree.
Some gods survive. Thor's sons Modi and Magni inherit Mjolnir. His hammer passes to the next generation. Baldur returns to Asgard, the god of light reborn. Hother returns as well. The new world keeps the best of the old. It's not a replacement, it's an inheritance. Powers continue, lineages persist. This is renewal, not ending. A cyclical cosmos, unlike the linear apocalypse in Christianity and Islam, religions that were spreading into Scandinavia exactly as Norse culture was being recorded by Christian monks. The Norse saw time as circular. The Christian scribes recording their beliefs saw time as a line with a definitive end.
What shaped the Norse apocalypse prophecy wasn't abstract theology, but the harsh, dangerous reality of surviving in Iron Age Scandinavia. Real climate crises, real social collapse, real experiences that shaped myth. The apocalypse they imagined reflected the apocalypses they lived through. Archaeological and climatic evidence shows the Norse experienced volcanic winters and rapid climate shifts, catastrophic temperature drops that made survival impossible some years. These weren't legendary, they happened. Around 535 AD, a volcanic winter reduced temperatures globally. Around 1257, another. The Norse lived through documented apocalypses. Fimbulwinter's description mirrors actual climate crises. Failed harvests, famine, brothers turning against brothers over scarce resources. The kinship bonds collapse under real stress. Not mythological embellishment, but accurate encoding of social breakdown under starvation. Mythology was how the Norse processed and transmitted historical trauma into a cosmic narrative.
The cyclical nature, destruction then rebirth, also reflects Nordic environmental reality directly. Harsh winters return predictably, but soil regenerates, forests regrow, and life adapts and persists. Animals die, but offspring return. Crops fail, but seeds remain. The Norse built their apocalypse myth on observed ecological fact. Nothing ends without regenerating.
In Virsia, modern pop culture has almost completely inverted the original meaning of Ragnarok. Marvel depicts nihilistic destruction. Wagner depicts fatalistic doom. Video games treat it as final catastrophe. But the Norse sources say something radically different. They don't describe despair, they describe defiance. And that difference changes everything.
For the Norse, Ragnarok wasn't a reason for despair. It was a reason to act with honor, knowing the outcome was fixed. It was defiance against cosmic certainty, not submission to it. Fight knowing you'll lose. Live knowing the world will burn. Love knowing bonds will break. And do it anyway. That difference between despair and defiance tells us everything about how cultures process apocalypse.